Hi everybody, this is Brent, the EdTech principal from EdTech.tv, and I have a question for you. Have you ever heard the story about the worried teacher who had students using their cell phones all day long and he couldn't get a lock on how to use it in class? So he flew all over the internet looking for arrows pointing to any kind of identification on what to do. He didn't want to be just like a sheep, so he buzzed around until he found that the Beatles had it right all along, and all you need is love. All right. I hope you haven't heard that story because I just made it up playing with Rory's story cubes on the iPhone. Today we're going to take a little look at how to do it. Rory's story cubes for the iPhone is just like the real version, which is actual dice using these little pictures that you see here, and you put them together to tell a story. And the better you get, the more you practice, you get really, pretty good at telling stories pretty quickly. You can use it for inspiration, for storytelling ideas, for creative thinking, all sorts of stuff. Now, I love the real cubes, and I actually like being analog with it, but it is nice to have this in your pocket. And, since we are EdTech.tv, we should probably take a look at the digital version. So here it is. It's on the iPhone store, and if you see the bottom here, we have these rows of icons. The very left icon is the grid, which lets you choose from the original story cubes, which you can buy at any bookstore or on Amazon. I'll have a link on the website. And you can also choose to add the action cubes. So if you see it, I've highlighted it there. We have the choice of, using one or the other. You can also buy upgrades, Voyages cubes, Clues cubes are coming soon, a bunch of different ones. But for right now, I'm just going to start with these two. So you can click on one or the other. As you can see, I'm clicking on both, and then you hit New Combination, and then it gives me all the cubes, a mix of the different cubes. Now, you're not going to be able to see it on this screen, but when I shake the iPhone, it's really just like a real shake, okay? And I can grab individual die and pull them. If I use two fingers, I can twist them around. If I use this second icon down, it will shake for me, but not as strong as a physical shake that I might do. So let's see what happens when I tap that. Just gives a little shake again, okay? And you go on and so forth and so down. What we're going to take a look at here is what you do with these. So the idea is that you take any of these die and you put them together to create a story like I did at the beginning here. You can really use your creativity to kind of see what you can come up with or what your students come up with. And you can go in order, you can go out of order, you can kind of do anything you really want to, because the whole idea is just to get the brain in a free flow kind of mood. We'll take a look on the website about some ideas on how to use that, but I really want to show just how simple the app itself actually is. So I showed you the first two icons at the bottom. The middle is a camera that'll just save the actual setup. The fourth one here is the one that aligns everything face up. So if I push it, you'll see that the ones that weren't face up moved to being face up. So that's pretty cool, just make sure that everybody can see the right parts, but sometimes being upside down can help create a different sense. So if you see this one here, now that the guy's upside down, I might come up with a different kind of story. And finally on the right is the lock screen, so that way if I accidentally shake my phone, nothing will actually happen on the screen. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Brent, that's kind of cool, but how do I use these things? Well, let's take a look. If I go back and let's say I just want to select the original cubes only, and I click on New Combination, now I've got this selection of all the original cubes. Now I can of course shake it, and we can come up with the different ones that are going to create some sort of story or some sort of basis for a story. But you might still be wondering how you're going to use this in class. Well, my first idea would be to project it up on the wall like I showed you in the Turn Your iPad or iPhone into a smartboard tutorial, which is linked below. That That way all of your students can see the same information, and you can put them into groups or into individual settings and let them all create their own story using the same basis points. That would be one really excellent way to start them with storytelling. If you're working in English language arts, I mean, you got tons of options here. Also, English as a second language, which is my area. I use this all the time with students. You know, I used to carry this around in my bag when I just wasn't even working. I would just have it because I wanted to have it on hand. So really, there's a lot of interesting potential. I think you could also bring it into, other classes like maybe social studies or, something to tie it in together. The real great thing about this is it's kind of endlessly creative, and the only limit is really your students' imagination. And I think that's really what's going to get them engaged with it. So definitely try it out. You can just shake it up, play with it. It's got this real kind of actual skeuomorphic type of thing going on. So there's a lot to play around with. It can be really fun. And when people get really good at it, you start seeing them do some amazing things. I've seen some really, really cool storytelling. Some people turn them into poems, rhymes, and all sorts of things like that. So definitely give it a shot. And make sure to take a look on the actual blog page, because I'm going to show a couple of more ideas on there. The story cubes themselves are not a complicated idea. In fact, it's kind of brilliantly simple. Take a picture, put it in combination with another picture, and use your brain to come up with a story. That's really all it is. But you can see kind of the endless possibilities. I think they give some crazy number like 10 million different possible combinations. And then if we go in and we start adding different packs, I mean, if I were to choose the action pack instead of the original, now I've got a bunch of action verbs, and we could tell a whole different kind of story. If I wanted to go down and add the voyages ones and all sorts of crazy stuff. So definitely take a look at it. Super, super fun stuff, and the kids will really get involved in it. This is not only for kids, adults love this stuff too. I've seen full-grown adults, people in their 50s and 60s playing around with these things like it was Christmas Day. So take a look, try it out, and if you come up with some good stories, let me know in the comments. I really want to hear about them. All right, you guys, this week's homework is super easy. All you have to do is download Rory's Story Cubes, first one, or you could go buy the real cubes. I love the real cubes, and I like the analog choice myself. And then, finally just start telling stories. I'm not going to be demanding here. I just want you guys to go have fun with it. I mean, this is what it is for, is just for having fun, exploring creativity, and I guarantee your students are going to love it no matter what setting they're coming from. So if you liked it, give me a shout out at EdTech Principal on Twitter, on YouTube, of course, also at EdTech Principal, and then on Facebook at EdTech.tv. I want to hear from you guys. Is this something useful? Have you been using the real story cubes, the real Rory story cubes? And if so, what responses have you gotten? Maybe you want to try out the digital version on the iPhone. It can be pretty cool. Some interesting stuff might come up. So give me a shout out whenever you have a chance, and I hope you guys are doing awesome. I will talk to you real soon. Take care.